Hey y'all, so let's cover graphing using slopes. We're going to cover part one in this one, and this is just finding the slopes. We're going to talk about different types, what each line looks like with the slope given, and understanding this, it has to do with whether or not something is horizontal, vertical, how much of an angle, it's not really the angle you're talking about, but what it looks like for that line. You need 2 points to find a slope. Remember, a point is made up of an X term and a Y term to give you that ordered pair. So we need 2 points to be able to find this. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the vertical change and divide that by the horizontal change. You could end up with a fraction in this point. You do not want to have a decimal. That's one of the things I definitely want you to understand. There's no decimal. Given we have 2 points, you can find the vertical change by subtracting them. Here's the thing that students mess up with so much is if you don't designate which point is point 1 and which point is point 2, your slope will be wrong. And usually it's off by a negative. Sometimes it's even more than that. So when you are labeling 2 of your points, let's just say that we've got 2, 3, and 4, 5. Here's point 1, and point 2. I label them that because then whenever I label x sub 1, y sub 1 for point 1 and x sub 2, y sub 2 for point 2. You need to understand this in order to do the plug and chug for the formula that's given. I can't tell you how many students I've seen that have done x1, x2, y1, y2, and that doesn't make sense because an ordered pair is made up of x, y. So please keep that in mind. Label your points. You'll see I do this for every single one of mine whenever I do this. Whether you're watching or not, I'm still going to do it because I know me, I will make that mistake. So please be consistent in doing that. A line that increases from left to right has a positive slope. So if you're thinking about a Cartesian coordinate system and you've got a line that is going from left to right and it is going up, that means it has a positive slope. So this would be a positive slope for this one. If you have one, and again, you're always thinking about this from left to right, if you're coming along and you hit this line and then you're going down, this is a negative slope for a line. A vertical line is where an x equals. So this is, say, x equals 3. This is a vertical line and it has an undefined slope. When you put the calculation in, you're going to end up with a 0 in the denominator, and it's going to say on your calculator does not exist. And in mom, you can say DNE, whatever it wants you to have, or undefined slope. All right, so this would be M is equal to DNE, or M is equal to undefined. A horizontal line is where you get a y equals, call it y equals 2. And this is a horizontal line, and it has a slope of 0. M is little m. Little m is its slope, is what's referred to as the slope. And a horizontal line has a 0 slope. If you think about it as rise over run, okay, the rise is the vertical change, it can be up or down, and the run is the horizontal change. If you do not have a horizontal change, that means it's 0 in the denominator, that's going to give you a vertical line. If you have a 0 in the numerator, that means it's not going up or down. It is a horizontal line and has a slope of 0. So that's what you need to understand. Let's go down here to these 4, and I'm going to do the first one. Follow me, just watch me do it. And then I want you to attempt the next 3 on your own and then come back to see how you did. So I'm going to use M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Put this on your note card. I do not expect you to have it memorized. Support yourself. I'm going to start with A, and that is 5, 3, and 2, 2. I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. Does it matter which one is point 1 and which one's point 2? Nope. All that matters is that you label them, be consistent, and use it exactly as it is when you're plugging it in. So we're going to start with y sub 2, which is 2, minus y sub 1 is 3, over x sub 2 is 2, minus x sub 1 is 5. Now the rest of this is just in the calculation. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Feel free to use your calculators. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. A negative divided by negative, you need to turn this to a positive 1/3. There's A. Go through, pause the video, attempt the next 3 yourself, and then come back to see how you did. Feel free to do one at a time. Doesn't matter. Just make sure and you do these on your own. All right. B is negative 6, 4, and 1, 4. I'm labeling x1, y1, x2, y2, and now I plug and chug. Y sub 2 is 4, minus y sub 1 is 4, over x sub 2 is 1, minus x sub 1 is negative 6. 4 minus 4 is 0, over 1 plus 6 is 0 over 7, which is 0. So M is 0, which means this is a horizontal line. Okay, you can see it. It's y equals 4. Let's come up here to C. Negative 1, negative 5, negative 11 and 3. Label x1, y1, x2, y2. Now substitute. Y sub 2 is 3, minus y sub 1 is negative 5. X sub 2 is negative 11, minus x sub 1 is negative 1. This becomes 3 plus 5, negative 11 plus 1. 3 plus 5 is 8. Negative 11 plus 1 is negative 10. We do need to reduce this. They're both divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide both by 2. It becomes a negative. Now let's talk about that here. Let's finish this, then I want to talk about this. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Does it matter whether I put negative 4 over 5, negative 4/5, or 4 over negative 5? Are they the same? Yes, they are. These are all equal. This one or this one are more apt to see how you do it. I put them out to the side. That way we understand the entire fraction is negative. This is the one that's rarely used, but understand that they are the same. So your slope is a negative slope, which means that as you're going from left to right, it is going down. So for D, we've got 2, negative 7, and 2, 8. Let's label x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug and chug. Y sub 2 is 8, minus y sub 1 is negative 7, over x sub 2 is 2, minus x sub 1 is 2, becomes 8 plus 7 over 0. 15 over 0 is undefined. So M is undefined. It's a vertical line, undefined. It is a vertical line that is x equals 2. That is what the line itself is. All right. So in part 1, graph each line given its y-intercept b and its slope m. So the way a line is written, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there, is y equals mx plus b. So we could make a line right now, but they're wanting us just to graph the line given these two things. So remember when I said in the earlier part of this video that your slope is your rise over your run. And I said your rise could be a negative or a positive. When you're graphing these lines, we start with the y-intercept, always. B is the y-intercept. So your y-intercept, which is B, the point for this is always going to be 0 for your x, and then whatever the number B is. So your y-intercept is 0b. So let's go plot that first. 0, 4, right there. Do not label it. We're not going to label it. We can come through here in a little bit and I'll show you how to label the line. So starting from the y-intercept, you never start from the origin when you're graphing your line unless that is your y-intercept. You always start from your y-intercept. From your y-intercept, you're going to use the slope to find your next point. You're going to use the rise over run method. And the one thing I want to tell you is you always run to the right. That's the easiest way to think about this. Your rise can be up if your slope is positive, or it could be your rise could be down if your slope is negative. Our slope for this is 2/3, which means we're going to go up 2, and we're going to go to the right 3, because you always want to run to the right. If you're consistent in knowing that your slope is going to go up if it's positive, down if it's negative for the numerator, then you can always run to the right for your denominator. All right. If there's no denominator, if your slope is 2, remember those are always over 1. So you're still going to have a running to the right. But for this one, let's go ahead and do from the y-intercept, we're going to go up 2, don't place your point yet, and we're going to run to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. That's where our point is. In fact, we can continue doing this. Up 2, 1, 2, 3. Up 2, 1, 2, 3. So that is how you create this line. And it should have an arrow in both directions. And like I said up here, it's y equals mx plus b. So we can go ahead and label what this line is. It's y equals m is 2/3 x plus 4. 2/3 x plus 4. I'm going to go ahead and label my line. All right. Go through, pause the video, and attempt this next one yourself. The only thing I'm going to warn you about is because it is negative, your rise, because it is a negative, you're going to go down 4, right? It's rise over run. And this is your slope. Remember, you always run to the right. But this means we're going to have to go down 4. Down 4, run 5. Start with your y-intercept. Oh, I'll get there. Start with your y-intercept. From the y-intercept, you're going to do your rise over run to find your next point. You can do it just once, draw your line, and then go ahead and label the line. I'm going to use a different flavor. Pause the video, please. All right. All right, so let's start with 0, 6. There's my y-intercept. From my y-intercept, I'm going to go down 4 because it's a -4, and then I'm going to run to the right 5. Down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't put your point yet. Run to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place your point. Draw your line. It should be a negative sloped line, which it is. This one was positive because it was a positive slope. This one's a negative slope. And we can go ahead and label this. Y is -4/5 x plus 6. All right. Same thing for the next two. Remember that your slope, yes, it is a 3, but that is over 1. So go ahead and attempt this next one yourself. You've got a y-intercept of 0, -8. From that, you're going to do your rise over your run, which is your 3 over 1. And this one's always to the right. This means you're going to go up because it is positive. So pause the video, go attempt this one, and then come back to see how you did. So 0, -8 means my y-intercept is right here. And then I'm going to go up 3 and to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. This is a positive sloped line because it is going up as I'm going to the right. Go ahead and label it y equals, and it's 3x minus 8, mx plus b. All right, the next one, I want you to pause the video and attempt it yourself. You've got a slope of 0 and a y-intercept of -2. So if it's a slope of 0, that means you've got a horizontal line and you've got a y-intercept of -2. I want you to think about this. How is that going to look? Pause the video and just think through what this is going to look like. Okay. So if my y-intercept is -2, right here, and I do not have a slope, I've got a 0 slope. So that means 0, you're not rising and you're not running. Well, actually, you are running. It's over 1. So you're running perpetually in both directions because this is a horizontal line. And since it's a horizontal line, it's y equals, now there's no slope, so it's 0x minus 2, so it's just y equals -2. There's no x involved. The next one says find y if the line through 1y and 7, 3 has a slope of 6. Okay, so we need to use m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. They're telling us that we're using these 2 points and that our slope, our m, is 6. So I'm going to substitute 6 for my m. And I'm going to still use this, but I've got a label x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to start with y sub 2, 3, minus y sub 1, which is y, over x sub 2 is 7, minus x sub 1 is 1. And I'm going to solve for y. So we're going to have to do some algebra here. First of all, I'm going to simplify my denominator. 6 is equal to 3 minus y over 6. Now, I've shown you before how to get rid of the fractions for the denominators, and that means we have to multiply both sides by 6. In this case, it reduces, which is how we get rid of our fraction. We're left with 36 is equal to 3 minus y. I want to solve for y, so I need to get rid of the 3. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And then I need to divide both sides by -1 to get rid of the negative. And y equals -33. Okay. The next one, it says determine the slope and y-intercept for each of the following lines. Okay, the slope, we can just use 2 points, or we can count them, because looking at these, they're giving us the points. So we could choose any 2 points we want to find the slope. All right, could also count it. There's multiple ways to do this. I would like for you to do it with the formula so that you're really comfortable with the formula, but I will show you the other version as well. The only time it doesn't work well is if it's not integers, if it's actually more of a fraction, and so that gets a little bit harder to use. The first one we can do easily is the y-intercept, and that is 0, 2. Now, to find the slope, it doesn't matter which 2 points I use. I just need 2 points. So I'm going to use 1, 5, and 0, 2. It's always nice to use the y-intercept. Label x1, y1, x2, y2, and then plug and chug into your y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Y sub 2 is 2. Y sub 1 is minus y sub 1 is 5. X sub 2 is 0. Minus x sub 1 is 1. This becomes -3 over -1, which is 3. So m is equal to 3. Now, the other way you can have done this is rise over run. From the y-intercept, again, go to the next point. You're going to rise 1, 2, 3. You're going to run 1. 3 over 1 is 3. That's another way to do it. Not great with fractions. So for this next one, I would like for you to pause the video, attempt this one yourself, find your y-intercept and your slope using exactly like what I did here. If you want, go ahead and write it in the form mx plus b, which is 3x plus 2 for this one. All right, go ahead and pause the video. All right, for this one, our y-intercept is 0, -3. Our slope is based on 2 points. I can choose these two if I want. I think those are lovely. -2, 0. I'm all about the zeros. 0, -3. Label x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug and chug. Y sub 2 is -3 minus y sub 1 is 0. X sub 2 is 0 minus x sub 1 is -2. Be careful with that. So many people just write 0 minus 2, and that's wrong. This becomes -3 over +2. So m is -3 halves. If we want to put this in linear form, it's y equals m x plus b, which is -3. That's it for part 1. I will see you in part 2.